Hello, my name is Sheli Masondo. I'm a costume designer for Shaka Ilembe, Season 1. I did research for Shaka Ilembe for a year and a half. I went to KZN, explored the museums in KZN, in Pietermaritzburg, in Devon Central. We did research, like digital research on the net, and went as far as actually finding the old men and old women that still exist, that still craft the original pieces of costume, like isdwaba, amapeshu, amadlogolo. We went like intensely on that. This piece that I'm wearing, for instance, is imbata. It's called imbata. It's exclusively worn by the royal family. So only the king or the wife can actually wear a leopard skin. So I think one of the interesting things, which is my favorite part of the whole research, was to actually finding the old women and the old men that still make the costume. And like the Zulu costume hasn't evolved much. There is only like the latest tweaks, obviously, and the current methods of cutting the hide, but then the end product is still the same. So what was interesting was that when I met the old man, Ubabu Ngwenya waseNkandla, what he did, like watching him actually craft idlogolo. Idlogolo is the big headdress that is worn by the kings. He still makes, up till today, he's still the one that makes amadlogolo for the royal family. And how he actually took the feathers and actually shaved them and shaped them so that they flow different from what you see when the bird is flying was quite interesting. And I had to have that man's gift and hands touch some of our feathers. So he was in that area. He was still the only person that does it, and usually it takes him like about 2 months, 3 months to just make one tlogolo, and we could not afford that. So I had to sit and actually watch him do the things and actually take that knowledge and actually transfer it to some of our crafters. Even with isdwaba, when I actually met Abu Mama Baba Nongoma, who made isdwaba. Isdwaba is the skirt, the leather skirt that married women wear. So the skirts are also made from a goat hide, and it's the way they cut it. I'm a designer myself. I went to design school. I studied in fashion, and I know what it takes to actually to create a pattern and cut a fabric. So when I actually saw how precise, how intricate, like they did the type of pleating. You know, from an ordinary eye, you will not see like the elegance. But for having gone to design school and know what it takes to actually get one single panel into a skirt, and they have like multiple of close to like 500 pieces on one skirt of leather, and I had to watch them do that, and the processes where they showed me from cutting it, stitching it, the thread that they use. Right now, what they use is silk, but back then it was like the animal fiber that was used to stitch, and the bone that was actually slit into a hole and made sharp so that they can stitch together. And all of that is from the research that I saw in the history books, but they were still doing the same processes. The only thing that changed was that they're using a steel needle right today. And it was amazing, and I needed that. The only difference is that when I created the stwabas that are created for the Mthethwa and the Zulu, I had to now look at how the pattern evolved from 1700, where the panels were bigger, to current, which is they've gone much smaller and much and bigger, smaller and multiple, like the number was bigger. Yeah, for me that blew me, and it made me want to step into my ancestors' shoes as a creative. And sometimes on set, to get an idea, I would have to like walk the fields, the empty fields, and look at the trees, the birds, the bark of the tree, the fine textures, how the leaf has veins, and how you could incorporate that into the design. It was very emotional for me, and it was more than just design. It was like stepping into my ancestors' shoes, and I was blown by how creative they were. And if you think we are creative, they were like way more creative, using whatever surrounded them without going to shops to buy fabric and buy sequins and buy bee and buy lace ribbons and it was stuff that was around them that actually moved them. And for me that was quite sort of emotional right now. But it was quite a process, and I had to step in there, and it was a spiritual. It had its own spiritual moments where you would have. I found myself losing myself in those crafts. Yeah, and I was blessed with the fact that I had support. My team, I had like big enough team of people from all over, from Gwandebele, KZN, in Joburg, that actually were brought in and that could translate everything that I envisioned. I had brought back from my research into Shaka Ilembe's costumes.